Hello, everybody. This is my third video in the Lawman, and today, as I promised, we'll be doing a overview of the Brotherhood of Steel. This is not every single little detail. This is just a kind of a glass overview of all that there is, most that there is to know about the Brotherhood. Anyway, the beginning. In 2077, a research group and a detachment of the U.S. Army were assigned to the Mariposa military base in California. And these researchers were working on a secret project that the government wanted to keep a secret from everyone, even the military detachment. And when the military detachment learned the truth, they were horrified. So these researchers were working on the FEV. The FEV, the force of evolutionary virus. They were meant to make a new breed of super soldiers. Upon learning the truth, the military detachment looked to Captain Roger Maxson, and Roger Maxson, upon hearing this truth, this horrific truth that they were using POWs of the Great War, Chinese soldiers, to experiment on, he interrogated the researchers and then executed them. After taking control of the Mariposa military base, Roger Maxson declared his desertion from the U.S. Army, what was overlooked. It was overlooked because of the war against China. And 3 days later, the nuclear fire came. So, when the nuclear fire came, they sat in the Mariposa base, waiting until it was safe to go outside. When it was safe, they went to a government fallout shelter known as Lost Hills. And there, Roger Maxson started to build up his strength. And he started to lash out at all of the people, that were, he was fighting raiders and ghouls and all of that stuff. All of that good stuff. And then, so Roger Maxson kind of made the ground rules and the ground rules and all of kind of the orders and all of that stuff. But then when he died in 2135, his son took over, which his son, Maxson II, Maxson II enforced these rules as father made and officially made the Brotherhood of Steel. And then later on, they were talking about the government, about all of the stuff. His son was agreeing and disagreeing, and the people that disagreed to Maxson II were sent out on these expeditions to make these new kind of splinter chapters of the Brotherhood, mainly in the Mojave, DC, Chicago. After Roger Maxson died in a very cocky way, they were fighting raiders, and he got too careless, and he died, sadly. But yeah, after his death, a new Maxson took the High Elder spot, and in Maxson III, they encountered a very technologically advanced enemy, the Enclave, and they were posed a serious threat for the Brotherhood. But thankfully, a mythical figure called the Chosen One took care of them by blowing up their oil rig, Odin, I believe. The oil rig was called Odin, I think. And after a few years, the main Maxson was Jeremy Maxson. We talked about him a lot, and I would just be saying the same thing I said after my previous videos. He hoarded technology for himself, like a shit ton of technology, and disagreements with the NCR and all the people around there that they can't have his huge amount of technology led to a war with the NCR. But the good thing that Jeremy did do before he made war with the NCR, he expanded eastward, strengthening the Brotherhood's position. the main Brotherhood position in Lost Hills. Oh yeah, and also when they destroyed the Enclave, they got a lot of their tech. So in Lost Hills, they researched they broke it down and re-engineered it for them to use it for themselves. After the war with Jeremy, with the NCR, sorry, a detachment of the Brotherhood was sent to make contacts with the Midwestern Brotherhood. But somehow in their airplane, and yes, interesting fact, there were more airships than the Predwin. There were loads more, but they were all kind of standard and not as powerful as the Predwin. That's why they're not really talked about. Anyway, a detachment of the Brotherhood of Steel was sent over to make contact with the Midwestern Brotherhood chapter, but somehow founded their way in DC, and they began to kill the super mutants there. But the super mutants in DC were strangely much stronger and bigger than the ones in the West, so they had some trouble, and plus the raiders there were giving the Brotherhood a very hard time. But the worst of all in DC was Enclave remnants, and it might sound like weak, the Enclave remnants, but these guys were serious. They had all like the leftovers. They weren't really there to witness the destruction of the oil rig Odin, so they were still intact. They were a force to be reckoned with, and they had a huge battle, many losses, but the Brotherhood had Liberty Prime. Now, Liberty Prime was a pre-war gigantic robot, and he was meant to deal with the Chinese in Operation Anchorage in Alaska. But he never made the main page in Alaska because they kind of opted to make more power armor than invest loads of money into a robot that can potentially kill more good guy soldiers than bad guy soldiers, or more US soldiers than Chinese soldiers. So they were having a greasy old time fighting the Enclave in DC, and it was brutal. Like, I believe in the DLC, what's it called? The Broken Steel. It was when you fix the purifier in the third game. The Enclave actually destroy Liberty Prime, kind of taking away their advantage. But the Brotherhood of Steel, they acted quick and smart. They did not bother to kind of, talk about the death of him, and quickly attacked the Enclave, completely crushing them in the process. And yeah, the Enclave was still around for a few more days, but they kind of became like the Enclave in the West, hidden, and kind of they don't dare to dress in their armor anymore. But they still have it. They're still a force to be reckoned with. So after this victory, a new elder was elected, Arthur Maxson, and he was sent to the Commonwealth, Boston, I believe. Yeah, Boston. And he was sent over there mainly to confront a growing tumor, as Maxson puts it, of the Institute. The Institute, they were a strange kind of fellow. They were very secretive, you see. Most of you that play Fallout 4, you probably know this, but they made a genetic kind of Tin Man, as Proctor Ingram puts it in Fallout 4. I don't know if you guys get that reference, but anyway, synths. And synths, Arthur Maxson thought, were the biggest threat to humanity. So he went over there, and it matters what kind of ending you got. If you got the Brotherhood ending, he nuked. he fucking nuked the Institute from the inside out. So they basically burnt from the inside out. And yeah, that's most what I got so far. Now we'll be getting on to the government and how the governing works in the Brotherhood. So there's a ruling council, the elders, and higher than that is the High Elder, and the High Elder is mostly a Maxson in the Maxson family tree. And the Brotherhood of Steel is a purely military order. So they don't really consist of civilians. Everybody in the Brotherhood is a soldier, or a scribe, or quartermaster, or a merchant to sell armor. Well, I wouldn't say merchant. But all of that goody goods. So we're kind of done on the government. Very short, but pretty impacting kind of a rule. They do not. They only kind of. They don't really let outsiders affect their ruling. Anyway, we go on the military, and the military consists of initiates, scribes, knights, paladins, and okay. So now I'm going to be talking about the different types of higher ranks that you can get in all of these kind of sections, soldiers, ranks. I mean, so in the initiates, you can become a knight. From initiate, you can become a knight, and from a knight, you can become a knight sergeant, knight commander. Then from a knight commander, you can become a paladin, and paladins can become. There's also star paladins, but I believe they are kind of solely in the DC and Commonwealth Brotherhood. So I'm not gonna be really talking about that. Paladins can become elders, and that's basically everything. Hope you guys enjoyed this short, not really short, but this kind of description talking about the Brotherhood. And the next video I believe I'm thinking of doing is a full video about the Rangers, as I said in the NCR video. I believe you guys remember the video. What I said was you can make a video about the Rangers 10-minute long, some bullshit like that. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video about the Brotherhood, and I'd like to see your comments down below talking about this kind of subject, and anything you guys want to add, obviously, comment down below. And if I got anything wrong, just comment down below. You're a fucking idiot, bullshit like that, Anyway, I hope you guys have a great evening. See you later.